Having been there myself and also having worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, I know that capacity is a huge issue. There are so many demands on your time. You're pulled in all different directions. You're trying to keep the lights on, as we say. And it's really hard to think about even setting aside the time to think about the role that I want to hire. Think about the skills that are required in that role. Think about how do I actually do the recruiting. It's very overwhelming, but I would argue that hiring is one of the most important activities you will do or engage in your company. In fact, you can look at a number of research studies that one of the biggest expenses or costs of businesses is hiring the wrong person.
You're listening to the Business Leadership Podcast with Edwin Frondozo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, biz leaders. On this special episode of the Business Leadership Podcast, we are thrilled to have teamed up with RBC to introduce a groundbreaking podcast mini-series designed to help you, the business owners and entrepreneurs, navigate today's volatile business landscape and equip you to seize the opportunities of tomorrow. Welcome to the Growth Unlocked podcast. Today, we're delighted to host Don Ludlow, the Vice President of Small Business Strategy and Partnership at RBC, as well as Mark Patterson, the Visionary Executive Director of Magnet. Together, we delve into the strategies for small and medium-sized businesses to attract and retain the dynamic young talent of today. We discuss the balancing act of promoting flexibility, agility, and creative perks to enhance employee well-being, while also nurturing young employees' career growth by offering diverse challenges and opportunities. If unlocking growth is your goal, this episode offers indispensable insights into magnetizing and retaining young talent in your business. Regardless of where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, be it at the beginning or midway through, you will gain practical advice, ingenious ideas, and a fresh perspective designed to elevate your small business to unprecedented heights. Growth Unlocked podcast is proudly presented by RBC. Without further ado, here we go. Let's start off by introducing yourself. Mark, tell us who you are, a bit about your experience over the years, and how Magnet helps employees connect with the best young talent.
Yeah, so my name is Mark Patterson. I'm the executive director of Magnet, and Magnet is an organization that tries to help small businesses, especially, find the right talent more quickly and more easily. So excited to be able to share today some of those opportunities for the businesses listening.
Don, how does RBC's partnership with Magnet support small business owners?
Ultimately, our partnership with Magnet helps small business owners connect with incredible young Canadians to join their teams. And a key part of this, or a key way of doing it, is through the RBC Youth Employment Portal, which enables youth job seekers across Canada to create a free Magnet account and to get matched to jobs or work placements or internships with Canadian small and medium-sized businesses, including those through RBC's extensive network of business clients. So with a Magnet account, which you can get through the RBC Youth Employer Portal, small business owners can get connected with these incredible young Canadians and job seekers and can get access to all kinds of other resources to help them grow and manage their business. And you can get access to Magnet through the RBC Start a Business Hub, as well as all kinds of other incredible resources. And you can find all that at rbc.com/starting a business. And so we're really delighted with our partnership with Magnet and really excited about this conversation today with Mark. So I'd say let's dive in further. Mark, entrepreneurs, there's many different paths to them achieving success. Some experience really rapid growth. Others, it takes a little more time to get going in order for them to achieve their goals. So knowing when to hire a new employee and to start growing their team is a really big challenge to figure out. How do you know, if you're a small business owner, when's the right time to hire and grow employees and grow your team?
If I could boil it down, I think it's really considering and being really clear on where value is being created in your business and when you can actually increase that value creation by bringing somebody into your organization. So we've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, for example, They may even be a sole owner and the sole employee of the business. And they're trying to figure out, when do I take on a, significant expense of hiring a new employee? And I think, it could be, for example, where the core strength of the entrepreneur, the founder of the company, might be in actually business development. But now all of a sudden they're being, spending most of their time actually in the administrative activities. And so they're creating less value. The activity that they're spending their time on is creating less value than they could if they were out doing business development. So that's one way of thinking about it. If I hire an administrative employee, can I create more value than I will have to pay them by spending more time on what my core strength is in business development? So you want to make sure you're hiring the right person into the role when you've made a decision that, it's going to be a net value add to your company through hiring if you get the right person. And really is kind of the fundamental piece that I would be thinking about.
And so let's think about that entrepreneur, that ultra small business owner who's just got themselves, and they're thinking about hiring their first employee. What would you suggest are some of the key things that they really need to think about and consider for that first big step?
Well, having been there myself and also having worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, I know that, capacity is a huge issue. There are so many demands on your time. You're pulled in all different directions. You're trying to keep the lights on, as we say. And it's really hard, to think about even setting aside the time to, for example, think about the role that I want to hire. Think about the skills that are required in that role. Think about, how do I actually do the recruiting? It's very overwhelming, but I would argue that hiring is one of the most important activities you will do or engage in your company. And so one of the things that we work with a lot of entrepreneurs is really help them think about prioritizing when they get to the point that they know they can add more value to their business by adding an employee. Really spend the time to do it properly. In fact, you can look at a number of research studies that one of the biggest expenses or costs to businesses is hiring the wrong person. But that would be one of the things I would stress. And that is not something that small businesses or entrepreneurs tend to think about. So we've done surveys with small businesses before. What are you thinking about, or what would you prioritize in growing your business? And a lot of them are, pitching to investors, or building our pitch deck, or refining our product, or our product roadmap, or whatever it might be. There are many things, but in our survey, often talent and talent acquisition was the last thing the entrepreneur was thinking about. It's kind of almost, I would say, an afterthought in some cases. And they'll think, oh, I can just call a friend, or I'll talk to somebody, and I'll hire somebody. I would just encourage all of you, when you're hiring, to make sure you're actually giving it the attention and the priority that it deserves, because it can be very costly to hire the wrong person, but very beneficial if you get the right person and a great fit for the role.
One thing that came to mind and what I've been thinking about, especially over the last couple of years, Mark, how the pandemic has affected small businesses, how to find and retain the talent, right? So what are some strategies that small businesses are using today to attract and retain employees?
First of all, the pandemic has been very challenging for many small businesses, as we all know. And so that's, been a huge challenge. We've gone from an environment where the labor market, there were actually a significant number of unemployed people during COVID, to one of the tightest labor markets for talent that we've experienced. And I think that even in and of itself, that kind of switch has been challenging for small businesses. And really, in a tight labor market, what happens is the potential employees have many options. And so there are more opportunities for them to pursue. And so therefore they have typically a little bit more leverage in their negotiations. They're not just looking for a job. They have options to choose from. So one of the things we've noticed is a lot of small businesses are needing to think a lot more about the flexibility they offer employees. They might think about hiring two part-time people instead of one full-time person. For example, some some people have also, so individuals we all know have also faced challenges due to COVID and there are other life pressures. So they've learned that they maybe need more flexibility. So we know a lot of businesses, instead of thinking, I need to hire one full time person, maybe I can hire a great person, but they only have part of the week because they're taking care of their children, their family, other, personal challenges. So we've seen companies be a little bit more flexible and think more flexibly around how to structure the need into multiple roles or how to restructure that. But I would also really encourage employers in this labor market to be really open to be really sure you're creating an inclusive work environment where you're allowing employees to bring themselves and also maybe look at pools of talent that you might not have thought about before. So we do a lot of work with youth, for example, with disabilities, where there are some amazing, talented youth that can bring a lot of value to your organization, but may sometimes, unfortunately, be overlooked in a typical hiring situation. So, in a tight labor market, one of the things we work on is increasing labor market participation. And so, really making sure your business is inclusive, making sure you're looking at all the talent that's available, the pools of talent, that you're open to engaging, people that might not be exactly like yourself and giving them an environment to bring their whole self to contribute to your business is really important.
That's so true. There are so many incredible young folks out there, looking for the right opportunity, looking to be given a chance. And the challenge sometimes is just finding that right candidate, that right person. And that can be really hard when you're poring over all kinds of, resumes and profiles and all that kind of thing. How does a magnet profile and your approach make it easier to ensure that, you find the right candidate to fit that opportunity on your team and in your business?
Yeah, so we do a number of things. We focus on, first of all, making it easier for you to recruit, for example, from post secondary institutions. So while it is often very good strategy to build a relationship with your local institution and understand the talent, for example, that might be available from your local college or university, oftentimes you may also have a role that you want to post at more than one institution. And so through the portal with RBC, we've actually built functionality where you can post one job posting, and you can actually distribute it to multiple institutions. So that saves you the administrative time for sure. You don't want to be spending your time on administrative, just posting your same job over and over and over again at different institutions. So we've built that kind of functionality. But we also have the ability to target underrepresented groups. So as I said, we have projects around with the Ontario Chamber of Commerce that support the employment of persons with disabilities and pools of talent that are available there. And our platform allows you to use what we call top match functionality. So out of the pool of candidates that'll apply, it'll show resumes and applications that have the skills you're looking for, which is why it's really important to think about those skills that are required. And we also have in the system, we have functionality that allows you to manage the application process. So look through all of the applications and manage it similar to what large companies use, which is called an applicant tracking system. But it's just a system to help you manage that process and make it a little bit more or a little less administratively burdensome for you because it can be. And so we want to help you fish in more pools and we want to make it easy for you to find the right candidate.
How does a small business owner, through Magnet, really make their opportunities stand out? Like, what's the secret here to making the job description and the opportunity, really appealing to the folks that you want to target?
First of all, there still is a responsibility about, and I would bring this back to kind of what we were talking about earlier on the business, to do a good job of selling. If we talk about making talent and your talent acquisition and your hiring one of your top priorities, I would argue that you should spend the same amount of time you would think about, writing your job posting and your description as you would about marketing material for your product, good, or service. So there is something you want to get across that value that your company is. You want to find people that are going to be passionate about the same things that you are, that your business is, that are fit with your business culture, that, they're They're excited about solving the same problem you may be solving with your business. But then we also allow you to, again, target that very specifically to individuals that have the skills, the qualifications, and so on. You can add videos to the job postings, a lot of other tools to help you profile your business. But like I said, we oftentimes find a lot of small businesses, and I used to be a director of career services at the Toronto Metropolitan University as well. We get calls all the time saying, I need a person. And we would say, what kind of person do you need? What skills are you looking for? Do you have a job description? A lot of times the business hasn't taken the time. Again, they haven't prioritized really thinking about it, how they're pitching their company, how they're positioning their company to find the person that's the right fit. And again, I would strongly encourage businesses, you're going to be hiring, you want to get the right hire, take the time, set aside. I know it's hard. I know you have many other competing priorities, but take the time to try and really think about getting the right person into your organization and do the best job of positioning your company to attract the right people.
I'm just really curious when it comes, to some of the challenges that small businesses are facing, especially when they're competing with larger companies for the top talent. Like, how could small businesses compete and overcome the challenge of not being able to pay high salaries or even, like you said, having that brand recognition to attract these top talents?
Yeah, sure. Happy to share some of the things that I've seen and heard about. And you're right, it can be difficult to, seemingly anyway, to compete against large corporations. And yet, I think there's lots of things that small and medium-sized enterprises have to offer and can really dial up that are very compelling to, well, I think to all employees, and I think especially younger employees today. Like, for example, promoting flexibility and agility in the way that you work. Everyone wants to be involved in, a fast-moving, fast-paced, quick decision-making organization where you can really, where you can really get things done. Tied to that, I think, is highlighting the opportunity to really make an impact in the work that you do. So it's really meaningful work and genuinely making a contribution, offering creative perks that support, financial, mental, and physical well-being. Demonstrating a genuine interest in helping develop the young employees and really helping them grow in the role they're in by giving them challenge and opportunity to grow. Building an alumni network, which, can help you with your recruiting after people have left. But sometimes your best, recruiters are your existing employees who can go out and hire great people they know. And even using social media to get your story out in a really genuine way to kind of build your brand and appeal to people. So, there's lots of things that small businesses and small business owners can do to really attract and retain great young team members.
What have you seen, Mark, within your work and your experience?
Yeah, I think the list that Don gave is, he hit on all of the major things. I think I'd just like to pick up on one of them and really kind of reinforce it. And that is, a small business, as a small business owner or entrepreneur, I'm sure you're passionate about what your product, good, or service is and the impact it may be having. I'm sure Edwin, as a podcaster, building a great product and giving good advice to small businesses is something you're passionate about. So when you're hiring, you're trying to make sure that the individual that you're hiring will also be connected to that mission and vision of your business. And if you can find somebody who's passionate about your mission and vision, and they can be part of an organization that gives them opportunity and a breadth of experience to grow and develop, you'll find a great employee. And I would say that you're able to, help develop your employees, do professional development and help them build their skills. But really finding somebody that's passionate about that mission that you're passionate about is something that I would really encourage businesses to focus on. And so we know that young people today, it's not actually about salary. When it is actually about impact and alignment or passion about the mission vision of the company. So you need to be able to sell that to your employees as much as you are selling it to your customers.
Why might an entrepreneur or a small business owner really want to hire young folks, such as interns, instead of maybe defaulting to, more skilled or perhaps more experienced employees?
Yeah, well, I think it is important to, again, assess the role. But if you have a role that is a fit for somebody that is, say, in a post-secondary institution in school or completing an internship, even in high school, building the pipeline of youth talent that are exposed to your business that become, again, aligned with your mission and vision is a really important longer term recruiting strategy, especially in a tight labor market like we have right now. So if you are hiring interns and students, again, Don, you know about the program that we have. So if you were to go out and hire a co-op student from any of the post-secondary institutions in Canada, we can refund you up to $7,000 or 70% of the salary that you pay them during, say, a summer co-op term or internship or position. There are requirements to qualify for the program that you can find as well by logging in through the RBC Youth Employer Portal and following the links to resources. But this is a program that helps offset that risk, but also allows you to engage youth and build the talent pipeline. And that's really, really important in times of a tight labor market. I would argue all the time, but especially now. So we also have another program called the Canadian Digital Adoption Program where we can provide businesses up to $7,300. It's not an internship. It can be a full-time hire, but we can provide up to $7,300 if they're working on an approved digital adoption program. So there are programs out there to minimize and reduce the risk, but it's a really important strategy. The other thing I would say, just adding on to that, is that youth can bring on many new perspectives. So as a large enterprise, RBC has done a lot of work. I think RBC hires approximately a couple of thousand youth every year into the enterprise, and youth bring new perspectives, new ideas, new solutions to problems that RBC has been looking at for a while. So that idea of bringing new perspectives, new ideas, people that are experience with new technologies that are developing. So we see that happening a lot as well, where potentially entrepreneurs or business owners, have wisdom that they've developed over years of being in business, but are having a hard time keeping up with technology. Bringing in youth that understand that technology and combining it with their understanding of the business over time is really important. And I would say it's a challenge for small businesses to adopt new technologies. It's something we also work on, but it's something we all should be paying attention to. So just as an example, everybody's hearing about AI and generative AI and its impact on businesses and the productivity opportunities there. One of the best ways you could actually, advance that is bringing in the right young person that has an understanding of that business, how it could be implemented, that technology and how it could be implemented in your business. So definitely encourage you to do that. And again, take advantage of the programs that we're promoting through our partnership with RBC that are funded also by the government of Canada to recognize that it can be work to bring on a student or an intern. They're there for a short period of time, but I guarantee you, if you haven't tried it before and you do engage in it, you'll find it a fulfilling experience and it will build value for your business.
Yeah. So for the entrepreneurs, for the small businesses who are keen to work and to hire this generation, how can they adapt, or how can we best adopt our best practices to prepare for this generation?
There's no doubt the pandemic transformed, the way we work and the way that we hire and attract and develop our team members. And, I can share maybe some things we're doing at RBC. So as part of our future launch program, we've launched something called RBC Upskill, which is powered by Future Fit AI. And it's a tool to help the young Canadians navigate every step of their early career journey. And so it helps them do a couple of different things. First of all, it kind of locates where you are in your career journey and delivers, customized advice and guidance in terms of how you can grow and develop. It recommends potential destination careers that might be of interest to you based on what it's gleaned from you. And so it kind of helps you maybe figure out where you want to go. It helps you map a pathway forward to help achieve specific goals. And then it kind of guides you along the way by, suggesting next actions you can take and helpful tips along the way. So RBC Upskill is a great tool and resource that youth can use and small business owners can direct their younger employees to make use of and leverage on their journey. And this is all part of RBC's Future Launch program, which is a really major commitment, over $500 million over a number of years, to really help young Canadians access meaningful employment opportunities, get practical work experience, and really get a good start on their careers here in Canada. So you can find out all kinds of stuff about that at rbc.com/future launch and get going from there.
Before we end, I'd love just to get some final thoughts from both of you, Don, Mark, in terms of the business leaders who are listening today. If you could just share an insight or an actionable item that we'd like to leave them with today.
Yeah, well, I would say again, engage in your talent recruitment, prioritize it. Definitely consider the youth talent pipeline, benefit from the programs that are available to help you do that, which are promoted through, not only the funding programs that Magnet offers in partnership with RBC, but also all the tools that RBC has on, the business hub and the start a business. There's a lot of resources that RBC has pulled together. And once you build an account on the RBC Employer Portal powered by Magnet, you'll also receive a lot of other ongoing supports and tools to help you. So you're not alone. There's a recognition, from companies like RBC that are doing amazing work both for youth and small businesses, but also from the government and funding programs that we're administering, that we're all here together. We're in this together. We're helping businesses recover from some of the challenges they faced during the pandemic and helping our businesses grow. This is something that we're all interested in. We all want our businesses grow. Canada is a company of small and medium-sized businesses. Our economy depends on it. Our future social prosperity depends on it. We're in this together. So reach out and take advantage of the supports that are available. And we know it's hard. We know you have a lot of competing demands, but let us help you, I guess would be my key message.
Yeah, so well said, Mark. I think I would just add that, small business owners should take the opportunity, really seize the opportunity and take the chance of hiring some new young Canadians to join their teams. I've had the benefit over the years of RBC of having some Future Launch, members join my team, as well as some summer interns and others on co-op. And man, I have always been impressed. As noted here earlier, they bring all kinds of new ideas and energy and insights and new skills and ways of looking at things. And they are just really awesome to work with and great contributions to any team. And so, you really need to seriously think about that. And Magnet's a great place to start and take that first step to really tapping the incredible talent that's out there with Canadian youth.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Growth Unlocked podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks, Edwin.
That's it, biz leaders. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Growth Unlocked podcast, a mini-series we're proud to present in collaboration with RBC. For additional information about our guest, Don Ludlow, Mark Patterson, Magnet, and all the resources that we touch upon, please do visit the website at thebusinessleadership.com/growth unlocked. You can also access this information directly from the show notes in your listening app. If you enjoyed this episode and haven't done so yet, please consider following the show, rating us, and leaving a review. Your feedback not only helps us improve, but it also helps us reach other innovative business leaders just like you. Until next time, strive for excellence and make every day a 100x day.
Thank you for listening to the Business Leadership Podcast with Edwin Frondozo.